Nico Robin was born on the island of Ohara. She came from a family of archaeologists. Her mother, Nico Olvia, went out to discover the true history of the world of One Piece by studying the poneglyphs, thereby fulfilling her and her husband, Robin's father's dreams. Robin's father, however, was never revealed. At just 2 years old, she was left in the care of Olvia's brother and his wife, Roji. One day, Robin would wander into the Tree of Knowledge, a gigantic 5,000-year-old tree located on the island of Ohara, which served as a library and a hub for archaeologists from all around the world. There, she was allowed to read the books held within on Professor Clover, a friend of her mother's invitation. Robin's guardian Roji was not very kind to the little girl, however, routinely verbally and physically abusing her over the littlest things. Roji made it very obvious that Robin was not wanted, a theme that would tragically repeat itself over and over again throughout Robin's life. See, Robin was expected to keep out of sight and not allowed to participate in family celebrations. On top of that, her devil fruit powers from the Hana no Mi often freaked people out or scared other children. I guess the ability to sprout body parts all over the place is pretty freaky. Parents will tell their kids to avoid her at all costs. Some kids even called her a demon. However, Robin wasn't completely alone. Her only friends were the scholars at the Tree of Knowledge, with Professor Clover of the archaeology lab trying his best to take care of her. Robin was a little genius too, though. At only 8 years old, she aced an archaeology exam and was officially inducted as a scholar. However, when she announced that she wanted to find out the true, unrecorded history of the world, just like her mother, she was reproved and threatened with a ban from the library. Saddened by her treatment, Robin ran off crying and headed to the beach. That was where she met the giant Jaguar D. Saul, washed up on shore. The two became fast friends, and Robin would continue to visit him while he built his raft to sail off on. After Saul found out that he was on Ohara, however, and that Robin was Olvia's daughter, he informed her of the tragedy that would soon befall the island. Battleships were on their way to destroy Ohara because the scholars there had been doing the last thing the world government wanted anyone doing: studying the poneglyph. To put it simply, the poneglyphs are a bunch of ancient information detailing information about ultra powerful ancient weapons and holding the secret to the lost, unrecorded history of the world. This is the information the world government does not want in anybody's hands, and they are willing to do just about anything to ensure that. Around that time, Nico Olvia, who had been captured by the Marines, had escaped from a marine ship thanks to Saul and had returned to Ohara. She informed the archaeologists there that her colleagues had been killed by the Marines and they were coming to Ohara to finish the job, killing everyone there. Despite the imminent threat, the archaeologists refused to leave, instead choosing to stay and protect the tree and the knowledge that they'd worked so hard to get. When Olvia was warned that CP9 was on the island, she rushed out of the Tree of Knowledge, rushing past her own daughter that she hadn't seen in years without even noticing. Robin arrived at the Tree of Knowledge and asked Clover about her mother's whereabouts, but he knew that Olvia wished to cut all ties with her daughter. Being a wanted woman and all, she didn't want Robin associated with her criminal mother. Doing as Olvia wanted, Clover denied that Robin's mother was on the island, urging Robin to leave and not tell anyone that she was an archaeologist, or she might be arrested too. Robin refused, of course, and CP9 burst into the Tree of Knowledge searching for the poneglyphs. All of the archaeologists were arrested and taken outside of the tree, and once again Clover urged Robin to escape, but she refused once again. This guy named Spanding and the rest of the CP9 arrived with a gravely wounded Olvia, hurt from an earlier encounter with CP9. This time, she instantly recognized her daughter once her name was spoken. CP9 found the poneglyph in the basement of the tree, and Spandin sentenced the archaeologist to death by Buster Call. Buster Call is basically the most powerful bombardment the Navy is capable of. Think of it like a tactical nuclear bomb just to wipe out these archaeologists. Clover tried to object to this sentence and began to speak out, talking to the 5 elders through Spanding's Denden Mushi, telling them that his theory behind why the government really wanted to keep these records of the past hidden. But before he could reveal much, Clover was shot point blank and mortally wounded. It was eventually discovered that Robin also had the capacity to read poneglyphs, and as the bombardment of Ohara began, Spanding and the CP9 made their exit. Robin and Olvia reunited, and shortly afterwards, Saul arrived. Things had gotten dire. Olvia asked Saul to make sure that her daughter was taken safely off the island and told Robin that she must continue to live. Robin begged and pleaded with her mom to escape with her, but Olvia insisted on staying there as she had something more that she had to do. Saul followed Olvia's wish and managed to reach the island's shore, but the marine ship spotted him and opened fire. But Saul retaliated, destroying several ships. Robin tried to make for the evacuation ship using her Hana abilities to get on board, but this only frightened the people on board. On top of that, Spanding told them not to let her on since she was in fact an archaeologist. So once again, the people rejected Robin as she walked away crying. The evacuation ship, however, ended up getting absolutely destroyed by Vice Admiral Sakazuki, or should I say, Akainu, as a precaution in case any archaeologist has snuck up on board. The world government is not above murdering civilians if it means keeping their secrets safe, clearly. At this time, Saul was being attacked by another Vice Admiral, Kuzan, stopping him from escaping with Robin, eventually getting completely frozen in ice, but Saul did everything he could to get Robin to escape. Robin ran to the raft that Saul built only to be met by Kuzan, who, if you couldn't tell by now, is in fact Aokiji. But shockingly enough, he told her that he was going to let her go, since he was curious why Saul, a man he considered his friend, would risk his life for her. However, Kuzan warned her he would be the first to come after Robin if she tried anything. Robin left on the boat, guided by an ice path Kuzan set for her, weeping as Ohara was burned to the ground and she was the only survivor left. This was just the beginning of Robin's harsh existence, however, even though it's been anything but a bed of roses so far. Robin would end up spending the next 20 years on the run. First, she found a boat heading northwest of the West Blue. When she boarded it, her bounty picture was taken, allowing the world government to put a bounty on her head and send marines and agents to hunt her down. They also chose to perpetuate this lie that Robin sank 6 ships to cover her tracks. They also lied to the public that the scholars in Ohara were trying to find the ancient weapons and use it to destroy the world, which was far from what they were doing, and thus Robin was dubbed the Demon of Ohara, and she was apparently out to destroy the world. Her very existence was considered a sin, and Robin grew up hating the world government for the crimes they committed against her and her people. During her time on the run, Robin would meet different people, all of whom either tried to turn her in or tried to kill her. Her first encounter was with an old farm lady who agreed to take her in and allowed Robin to work for her, until one night the old farm lady told Robin that she had some guests. The guests, however, were world government agents attempting to kill her. As Robin escaped, she could hear the old lady yelling at the agents about her payment for turning her in.
Give me my money! I told you where she was hiding, didn't I?
Damn! Next, Robin was taken in by a couple. Once again, she worked hard for them, but during the night, she overheard them talking about turning her in, so she fled, while they yelled at her, calling her an unfortunate woman who betrayed their kindness. When she joined her first pirate crew at just 8 years old, the world government caught up with her and her new crew. They assumed that Robin had betrayed them, so she fled before the pirates turned their anger against her. When she tried to help out in the shop, the owner whacked her with a stick in anger, telling her that she was not allowed in. Yes, life was miserable for Nico Robin. Years later, at the age of 24, she traveled to Alabasta, where she met with the warlord of the sea, Crocodile. And they both had something each other wanted. He needed her ability to read poneglyphs in order to locate the ancient weapon Pluton, allowing her to join his organization, Baroque Works. While Robin had something she wanted as well. Somewhere to safely hide away from the world government, and she did so for 4 years. She would eventually become the vice president of Baroque Works and change her name to Miss All Sunday. This is the person the Straw Hat Pirates would meet, a cunning woman who seemed to enjoy cryptically toying with them. She would end up playing a pretty pivotal role in the Straw Hat's adventure in Alabasta and their desire to bring an end to Crocodile's reign. For one, she was the person that saved Luffy's life after he was impaled with Crocodile's hook and left to die in quicksand. She even had the time to confront the Marines led by Tashigi, who, I must add, she has a burning hatred for. After all, the Marines are simply the boots of the world government she despises so much. She dispatched with the Marine grunts pretty easily and defeated Tashigi for good measure. Robin might have become Miss All Sunday now, but that didn't mean she had much love for her employer Crocodile. And honestly, who can blame her? He's kind of a tyrant. So she had an assassination plan set for Crocodile while they searched for the poneglyph. Unfortunately for her though, Crocodile struck first. This time, Luffy returned the favor and saved Robin instead. The funniest part is, Robin didn't exactly join the Straw Hat crew like most of them. She kinda just stowed away on the Going Merry as they were leaving Alabasta, claiming that she wanted to join the crew since Luffy saved her life when she lost her will to live, and he should take responsibility. Luffy, of course, immediately accepted her offer to join the crew, but everyone else remained pretty suspicious. Except Sanji, of course, he was pretty overjoyed. But this was just the start of their grand adventure, and pretty soon Robin would become another beloved member of the Straw Hat Pirates. If you enjoyed that little recount of Robin's life, do like the video, leave a comment telling us who we should cover next, because I'm gonna go through all of them. And subscribe. See ya.